In May 2016, you ended up bumping into each other, correct, Tony?
Yeah, correct.
Where did you bump into each other?
At a friend's party.
Now, some people, I have to tell you, knowing what he'd done, sold the van, got £800 for it, not paid you, knowing that he'd walked away, saddling you with a extremely large debt, might be very cross at that party. But it seems from your application that that's not what happened. In fact, you ended up talking it out, right?
Yeah.
What did happen at that party?
We ended up talking about it, and I more or less said, all my friends and that think you're out of order, and it's about you owe me the money and that, and can you start paying me it off?
And on the 21st of June 2016, you agreed with that, right, Dion?
Yeah.
And consequently, there were some papers drawn up by, was it you, Tony?
Yep. We ended up going to a pub. We was like sort of had a couple of pints, a couple of my mates was there, and then Dion agreed, because basically a couple of my mates said you've been taking liberties at me the last few years, owing me this money, and then we think you're out of order. And we ended up having an agreement of him paying me back £200 a month.
£200 a month. And you entered that agreement knowingly, correct? At the time, could you afford that £200 a month?
I thought I could, yeah.
Yeah, you could, because your business was doing really well then.
Consequently, somebody drafted this document. Do you have that document in front of you? Could I ask you to go and collect it, Michelle? Thank you very much. Dion, and it says your surname, owes me £4,500 for a Vauxhall van that I sold him, says the date, and has agreed to pay me back £200 a month until the debt has been cleared. And you appear to sign it. Can I ask you to look at this document and check that that's your signature, sir?
I do remember it, yeah.
Thank you. Can you just make sure you have a look? Thanks very much. Thank you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Now, of course, first payment after that is due in July of £200. So you received that first payment in July of £200, yes?
No, I did not receive the payment.
2016. Since 2016 and today, how many of those £200 payments have you received, sir?
None at all.
Dion, none of this debt has been paid. In 2016, at the time you signed this agreement, according to what Tony says, you appear on the face of it to have been able to afford that sum. Why have you not paid any of the money back?
Unfortunately, well, when I sold the original van for £800, I obviously had to get another van. I got another van on finance, and I was paying £179 a month for that for 4 years, which just run out. But I mean, to be honest, Sean, I've got no excuse. I do feel terribly bad about it. And, you know, I mean, I've let him down. I know I've let him down, but...
Now, Tony's a very good friend, right?
Yeah.
You put him at the bottom of your financial pile for the better part of 7 years or more, right?
Basically, yeah.
If he'd called you, Tony, and said, look, I can't afford the 200, how about 50, or please understand I'm doing my very best, would you have been sympathetic?
Yeah, and I did say things like that to him, just like...
And how many times has he called you in the past 2 years to try and do his best to give you something? £20, £30? How many times?
Never. I've been calling him.
Do you think these are the actions of a friend, Dion?
Definitely not, but...
How would you feel if somebody had done this to you? You are a hard-working person. You don't have a great deal of surplus income. Somebody had walked away with a £4,500 debt and not paid you despite best efforts and a promise. How would you feel if the shoe was on the other foot?
I'd be fuming, actually. But I was also paying debts towards what I borrowed for my wedding, but it's not... I understand it's not an excuse, and it's... You know, if I couldn't afford to get married, I shouldn't have at the time, but, you know.
But moving forward, you were friends since school before all this business.
Yeah.
Right, that's over 3 decades, more.
Yeah.
4 decades.
Yeah, we've been great friends. We was great friends for years.
Well...
And so what's it done to you to find yourself not speaking anymore?
I was really upset about it, and because basically it was really awkward because we got a really large group of friends, and when there was things going on, if I knew Dion was going, I wouldn't go, But if I knew he weren't going, then I'd go to the gatherings and when all our friends all meet up.
That's the first I've heard of that.
First you've heard of what?
Not coming somewhere if I was there.
Well, I've got a statement from Carl, who's your friend.
Yeah.
Tony and Dion known each other for years and would always see each other down the pub together, watching the game. Explains what happened. And then he says they were such good friends that Tony thought there was no way Dion wouldn't pay him back. They've had a massive fallout about it, and it really shocked our group of mates. After a while, they bumped back into each other at a mate's party, and then a few weeks later, I was with them at the pub, which is where they signed an agreement over a pint, and Dion said he would pay him back each month. To this day, Tony hasn't received a penny from Dion, and it's about time he paid him back, because this has gone on long enough. Well, he's right.
I agree.
Now, sir, before I give a ruling, is there anything that you might like to say to Tony?
I just want to say I'm sincerely sorry, and I have no excuse for it. It's terrible, really, and I will sort it out.
When you first gave Dion this van, you gave it to him in circumstances where you did not have an enforceable agreement.
Yeah.
And had you not got something in writing, which is, to an extent, my belief at the start of this case, I would dismiss this matter straight away. There would be nothing you could do. Thankfully, after years of ignoring you, you and Dion ended up in a pub, and to both of your credit, especially yours, Tony, you ended up having a calm and reasonable conversation where you determined that the best thing to do would be to get the debt in writing and to get Dion to sign promising to pay you £200 a month. That was, in every sense, his second opportunity, which he failed at. More importantly for you, that was the moment that this agreement became enforceable, because it's quite clear that this is a legal contract between you and Dion, and this court can be confident that that £4,500 was not a gift. I understand that Dion, hard-working though he may be, can't afford this debt, but the reality is that he's going to have this court judgment. Consequently, this court awards you, Tony, £4,500. That's the money.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, that £4,500 may very well be paid, but let me be clear. Friendship, as I'm sure you would agree, Dion, is worth a lot more than that, correct?
100%.
And it must be very unfortunate to find one of your best friends, if not your best friend, not at your wedding, which sounded very expensive, over money, correct?
That did upset me, not going to his wedding.
I'll bet it did. The award of this court is £4,500. I can't force you to do it, but bearing in mind there's now a judgment, whether your friendship starts properly moving forward is a matter for you. Would you be prepared to shake hands before leaving, Dion?
I will.
Yeah.
Tony?
Sorry.
Award of this court is £4,500.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
The claimant won his case and was awarded £4,500 by the judge. Let's find out how both parties felt about the judge's ruling.
You didn't come to my wedding?
If you paid me the money, then I would have come to the wedding.
That's a shame, yeah, but it's too late.
And I missed a good wedding, so it's really, it has hurt me over the years, sort of thing. So, but that's history, and we just got to move on, basically.
All right, well, I'm truly sorry about that.
I just don't want money to come in between me and my friends again. And I would never literally lend money to my friends or sell vans to my friends or getting our family on that. I don't think it mixes at all.
Hug.
No, cheers.
Don't have a beer then.
Don't be stupid. Stay and watch the best Judge Rinder moments. And I'm talking. Understood? Don't be a moron. Subscribe to Judge Rinder YouTube channel. Right now. That's an order.